Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something that has, well, shaped pretty much everything: history, art, our own lives. We're talking about lust. It's more than just a feeling. It's a deep biological program. So let's get into the science of what makes this incredibly primal drive tick.
So here's the plan. We're going to start by looking at how lust basically hacks our brains. Then we'll get into the nitty-gritty of the chemicals involved. We'll also jump in a time machine to see where this all came from evolution-wise. And then, and this is a big one, we'll see what happens when this ancient programming meets our crazy modern world. Finally, we'll talk about how you can actually manage this whole thing.
Okay, let's dive right in. What even is lust when you strip everything else away?
You know that feeling, right? When desire just takes over, like you're not even in the driver's seat anymore. Yeah, that's not just in your head. It's your biology. And believe it or not, that feeling of being completely overwhelmed, that's a feature, not a bug.
Okay, first things first, we've got to draw a really clear line in the sand between lust and love. They are not the same thing. Think of it like this. Lust is the spark, the chemical rush, the short-term mission. Love, on the other hand, is that steady, long-term bond. They feel totally different because, biologically, they're running on completely different operating systems.
So let's be super clear here. At its core, lust has nothing to do with romance or finding the one. It's a survival program, plain and simple. It's basically nature's ultimate hack, flooding your system with an irresistible chemical cocktail for one very specific, very ancient reason: to make sure the species keeps going.
All right, so now that we know what it is, let's pop the hood and see what's actually going on inside our brains when desire kicks in. This is where the machinery gets really interesting. The moment desire strikes, your brain just lights up like a pinball machine. You've got the hypothalamus acting like mission control, calling all the shots. Then there's the nucleus accumbens, which is your brain's reward center screaming, "Yes, I want that!" The amygdala chimes in with all the intense emotion, the real fireworks. And the prefrontal cortex? Well, that's the poor guy trying to be the voice of reason, desperately trying to keep it all under control.
And what's fueling all this chaos? A very, very powerful chemical cocktail.
And this is where it gets really cool, because each of these chemicals has a very specific job to do. Dopamine, that's the gas pedal, the motivation, the thing that makes you lean forward. Testosterone is the fuel, the raw power behind your libido. And yep, that's for men and women. Serotonin acts like the brakes, trying to add a little bit of impulse control to the mix. And oxytocin, well, that's the bonding hormone. It's the one that helps create a connection during all this, kind of blurring the lines between pure lust and something more.
So all these chemicals team up to create this incredibly powerful feedback loop. It all starts with a trigger. Could be anything: a glance, a scent, even just a thought. And bam, your brain releases a shot of dopamine. That creates the craving, the anticipation. That feeling then motivates you to, well, pursue the reward. And when you get that satisfaction, it reinforces the entire circuit, hardwiring it into your brain and making you want to do it all over again.
Now, here's a really important thing to remember. This whole complex, elegant system, it wasn't designed to make us happy. Not at all. It was designed for a much older, much more fundamental purpose.
Yep, from evolution's point of view, the goal is brutally simple: pass on your genes. That's it. Your personal happiness, your feelings, your potential heartbreak. Honestly, evolution just doesn't care. All of that is just collateral damage in the grand impersonal mission of reproduction.
And this is where we really see the dark side of this programming: the built-in costs. The very same drive that keeps our species going is also the source of some of our worst impulses: jealousy, possessiveness, risky behaviors, and just all the emotional chaos. These aren't bugs in the system. They are literally features of a program designed for one thing: replication, not our personal well-being.
Okay, so this brings us to a huge problem. What on earth happens when you take this ancient primal programming and drop it smack dab in the middle of our hyper-stimulating 21st century world?
I mean, think about it. We are literally walking around with brains that are running on software from the Stone Age. This hardware was designed for a world where mating opportunities were few and far between. But today, we live in a world of absolute, overwhelming abundance, and our poor ancient brains are just short-circuiting. Seriously, modern life is basically a playground designed to hack our lust circuits. You've got dating apps giving you an endless stream of novelty, which keeps that dopamine system firing constantly. You have pornography providing what scientists call supernormal stimuli, stuff that's so intense our brains can't tell it's not real. And then there's the constant bombardment from social media, ads, everything. Our brains were just never, ever built to handle this level of stimulation.
And when this system gets pushed too far, for some people, it can spiral into what's known as compulsive sexual behavior. This is the point where those thoughts, urges, and behaviors become so intense and recurrent that they start to seriously mess with your life, your job, your relationships, your well-being. It's the ancient drive completely running amok.
So, after hearing all that, you might be thinking, great, so we're just puppets, slaves to our brain chemistry? Well, not exactly. The good news is, understanding how the machine works is the absolute first step to learning how to drive it. And we really can take back some control. It all starts with self-awareness, just noticing what your triggers are. From there, you can start to manage your environment, control your exposure to all that hyperstimulation. You can also work on reframing your thoughts when they start to spiral. But maybe most importantly, in our relationships, we can use open communication to make sure this powerful drive is aligned with consent, respect, and real emotional connection.
Look, at the end of the day, lust isn't some kind of moral flaw. It's just a piece of our evolutionary hardware. It's a program, and by understanding how that program runs, the chemistry, the triggers, the evolutionary purpose, we can learn to work with it, not just be controlled by it. We can channel that incredible energy in ways that actually make our lives better. The power isn't in trying to crush this drive, but in understanding it. So the real question I want to leave you with is, now that you know how the machine works, how are you going to drive it?